Let me tell you the story of a young man named Ananda, who once lived in a drought-stricken village nestled among the dusty hills of ancient India. Life was never kind to him. He lost his parents early and was raised by a bitter, hard-hearted uncle who seemed to care more for his goats and oxen than for the boy himself. From the very beginning, Ananda felt that the world was cruel, unforgiving, and that maybe, just maybe, he was cursed. Each day brought him new burdens, harsh words, stinging failures, constant comparisons, and the sting of poverty. And every time, those burdens sparked fires inside him. He would lash out, break down, or withdraw into silence. His heart felt like a battlefield where his dreams, disappointments, and fears fought endlessly, leaving him tired and torn. You see, Ananda often wondered something that many of us do. Why do some people stay calm when the world throws storms at them? Why did he feel like a prisoner of his own mind while others seemed so peaceful? Now, one particular afternoon, one that changed everything, Ananda had just faced humiliation at the village market. A trader had wrongly accused him of theft. People stared. Some whispered. No one defended him. Burning with shame and fury, Ananda ran. He ran toward the edge of the forest, fists clenched, eyes blurred with tears, his chest pounding with rage. And it was there, in that very forest, that destiny waited. Beneath a great Bodhi tree sat an old monk in perfect stillness, like a stone untouched by the wind. His presence felt different, calm, safe, pure, as if the chaos of the world couldn't touch him. Ananda, desperate and aching, cried out, "How do you stay calm when the world is so cruel?" The old monk slowly opened his eyes, and with a voice gentle as water, he replied, "I do not control the world. I have learned to understand the mind." He introduced himself as a disciple of the great Gautama Buddha, and to Ananda's surprise, he invited him to sit. "Just breathe," he said. And though Ananda was skeptical, angry even, he sat down. That day was the beginning of a new path. The monk didn't speak of magic or miracles. Instead, he spoke of suffering not as a curse, but as a truth of life. Suffering exists, he explained, but it is not forever. It arises from our desires, from our craving for what isn't, and our rejection of what is. He spoke of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, guiding one away from misery and toward peace. And for Ananda, each word felt like a seed falling into dry soil. He returned to the monk every day, learning to breathe mindfully, to sit in silence, to observe the wild movements of his thoughts without chasing them. At first, it was maddening. His mind raced with anger, regret, and painful memories. But the monk reminded him, the breath is the anchor. It lives only in the now. And you, too, can live there, free from the weight of the past and fear of the future. Over time, a shift began, subtle but real. Ananda noticed the space growing between his emotions and his reactions. He still felt anger, but instead of exploding, he watched it pass. When his uncle insulted him again, Ananda didn't shout or cry. He bowed his head and walked away, not in weakness, but in deep, peaceful strength. For the first time in his life, he understood. The real battle wasn't out there, it was within. He began reflecting on the things he clung to: love, respect, validation, and realized how much pain came from wanting the world to be different than it was. The monk taught him that everything, good and bad, was impermanent. Joy, pain, youth, success, all of it. Emotions are clouds, the monk said. But you, Ananda, you are the sky. And then came the real test. One day, a nearby village accused Ananda's uncle of stealing livestock. His family turned to him to defend their honor. Fear rose, anger stirred, but Ananda remembered. Breathe. That night, he sat beneath a tree and did just that, nothing else. Just breathe. And in the morning, he spoke to the village, not with fury, but with calm and compassion. His words brought peace, not war. And for the first time, the villagers saw someone different. Not the old, reactive Ananda, but someone grounded, wise. Word spread. People began seeking his advice. The boy who once couldn't control his temper now helped others understand their own emotions. Months later, Ananda returned to the forest, hoping to thank the monk who had shown him the path. But the monk was preparing to leave. "These teachings are not mine," he said. "They were given to me, and I now give them to you. Keep walking. Become the tree others can rest beneath." That farewell left Ananda both grateful and awakened. He returned home and began gathering people beneath the village's old banyan tree. Yes, the very one he once sat beneath in rage, and began to teach. Not like a scholar, but like a friend. He spoke of the breath, of letting go, of watching thoughts instead of fighting them. And slowly, the village began to change. Where there was conflict, there was now calm. Where there was fear, there was now understanding. And whenever life threw storms his way, and it always did, Ananda returned to his breath, that simple breath. He remembered that controlling the mind wasn't about force. It was about understanding its nature. Through the timeless wisdom of the Buddha, Ananda transformed pain into peace, fire into light. And in doing so, he became a quiet flame for others, guiding those still lost in the storms of their own minds.